When a person tells the story of his life in his own words, it is called an autobiography. Gulliver, a sailor, was once caught in the land of giants. This is how he describes his experience. Objectives of the lesson are: student will be able to read the story with proper understanding. Student will be able to give reasons for a particular event. Drilling of the use of when and why in proper context. Student will able to use present continuous form in the proper context. Student will able to form 3 degrees of comparison: positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree, and use them in proper context. On the 16th of June, we discovered land. Our captain sent dozen men with vessels for water, if any could be found. When we came to land, we saw no river, no spring, nor any inhabitants. I turned back to join the crew, only to see them getting into the boat and drawing for life to get to the ship. Before I could reach them, I observed a huge creature walking after them in the sea as fast as he could. The water of the ocean reached only till his knees. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat. I turned back quickly and climbed up the steep hill with fields of barley on either side and corn rising up the 40 feet. There was a fence to pass from one field to other. It was impossible for me to climb because every step was 6 feet high. I was trying to find a gap in the hedge when I discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field walking towards the fence. He called in a voice much louder than a trumpet. It sounded like thunder. He was of the same size as the creature was chasing the boat. I was struck with the utmost fear and astonishment and ran to hide myself. 7 monsters like him came towards the field, ready to reap the corn. They carried a reaping hook, which was very big. When one of the reapers approached where I lay hidden, I screamed as loud as I could. The creature stopped reaping and picked me between his thumb and forefinger and brought me close to his eyes, 60 feet above the ground. He called his friends and gently placed me on the ground. They all sat on the ground to take a good look at me. I walked slowly backward and forward, pulled off my hat and made a low bow towards the farmers. I tried to speak to them loudly in several languages. He looked at me with curiosity and blew my hair aside to get a better view of my face. The farmer took me to his house and placed me at some distance on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the floor. Dinner was brought for the farmer in a dish which was 10 feet in diameter. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before me. In the middle of the dinner, I heard a noise behind me. It was the purring of a cat that was 10 times larger than an ox. The farmer's wife stroking him. Then entered the farmer's 1-year-old son in the arms of a lady. On seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. I shouted so loudly that the baby dropped me. I would have broken my neck if the mother had not held her apron under me. Later she put me on her own bed and covered me with a clean white handkerchief. I slept dreaming of my home, my wife and my children. New words with meaning. Blowing, very loud voice. It is blowing like thunder. Inhabitants, meaning occupants. Sentence: this village was inhabited many years back. Barren, land with no vegetation. This piece of land is barren. Crumbled, broken into pieces. Sentence: that old plastic bag crumbled so badly. Astonishment, greatly surprised. After seeing the gift, she astonishment with joy. Grab, pick suddenly. He grabbed him in his arm and shouted aloud. Question 1. Why did the captain send the man to the land? Answer. The captain sent the man to the land to see if any water could be found. Question 2. Why did the man rush back to the ship? Answer. The man rushed back to the ship because they saw no river, spring or any inhabitants on the land, and a huge creature was walking after them. Now choose the correct answer. Our first question is, the giant carried a reaping hook because he was fighting with other giants. He was going to reap the corn. He wanted to frighten the Gulliver. Correct answer is, he was going to reap the corn. Second question. They put Gulliver on the ground to look at him because they had never seen a human before. They thought he was a doll. They had never seen such a tiny man. The answer is they had never seen such a tiny man. Third, Gulliver was a farmer, a sailor, a dwarf, a giant. Answer: Gulliver was a sailor. Question 4. Name the creature to whom you would look like Gulliver. The creature is now extinct. The word begins with the letter D. Is it a dog? Is it deer? Is it dinosaur? Correct answer is it is dinosaur, because dinosaur is very giant. A giant tree. It is redwood tree of California. Even car can pass through it. A giant bird. It is an ostrich. A giant land animal. It is an elephant. A giant water creature. It is blue whale. A giant reptile. It is crocodile. A giant aeroplane. It is Antonov and 225 Maria. Question. From the text, write the sentence that tells you the following. The giant reapers were fascinated by Gullivers. We can say that because Gulliver has returned, they all sat on the ground to take a good look at me. Second, Gulliver was a learned man. Because Gulliver has returned, I went on to explore, because you can explore the world when you have learned about the world. The farmer's son thought Gulliver was a toy. Because Gulliver has returned, on seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. The farmer's wife was a kind-hearted woman. We can say that because Gulliver has returned, later she put me on her own bed and covered me with a clean white handkerchief. When we want to compare something with someone, we say, the giant farmer's voice was as loud as blowing trumpet. It means he is not blowing trumpet, but his voice was as loud as blowing of trumpet. The giant farmer's voice was as loud as thunder. It is not thunder, voice of thunder, but giant's voice was as loud as thunder. Now complete the following use of the words given in the box. As gentle as, night as, red as rose. The old man's hair is as white as snow. His feet were as cold as, which is the coldest thing in the world? Ice. His feet were as cold as ice. The newspaper boy was as slow as, which animal is slowest in the world? Tortoise. The newspaper boy was as slow as tortoise. I felt as light as a dash after exercising. Which thing is the lightest? Feather. I felt as light as a feather after exercising. As light as a feather, because we think feather is the lightest. As slow as a tortoise. As sweet as, which thing you think is the sweetest? As honey. As white as snow. As strong as an ox. As black as night. As red as a rose. As gentle as a breeze. As warm as a toast. As tall as a tree. As fast as a rabbit or cheetah. As brave as a lion. As angry as a bull. As high as a kite. As tiny as an ant. There are many reasons why something happens. Now look at the picture and discuss in the group why the event has happened. For example, all the three are reasons why Gulliver was unable to climb the fence. One can be Gulliver could not climb because every step was 6 feet high. Second reason can be Gulliver could not climb the fence because he saw one of the giants coming towards him. Now look at the pictures and discuss in the group why the following events happen. You may find more than one reason for each of them. Refer to the textbook for images. Here in first picture we can see the door of the theater is closed. In second picture we can see the couple is going out for walking. Now first reason can be the actors were not available for the play. That's why there was no play and the door is closed. Second reason, the timings of play got changed. Maybe it will be late or it was early in the morning. So the couple went out. It was a cool night to go for walk because couple thought it is very good night to go out for walking, so they went out for walking. The couple wanted to spend some time together. There was an accident at the backstage of the play, so there was no play or the door is shut. So there are many reasons when something happens. I was sitting in a taxi yesterday when I saw a man running behind it. He was cleaning out his cupboard when he saw a dead rat lying there. Dog ran out onto the road A mad dog ran out onto the road. Teacher walked into the room. My favorite teacher walked into. Look at the following examples when first two are compared and then all three are compared. The sailboat is fast. The car is faster than the sailboats. Here we have compared sailboat and the car. Now, the aeroplane is the fastest of all. Among three, aeroplane is the fastest. Skipping is easy. Jumping is easier than skipping. When we compare jumping and skipping, then the skipping is easy. Jumping is easier than skipping. And walking is the easiest among all. When we compare three of them, skipping, jumping and walking, then the walking is the easiest. The dog is strong. The horse is stronger than the dog. The elephant is the strongest among three animals. Apple is juicy. Orange is juicier than apple. Sugar cane is the juiciest among all three. Climbing is exciting. Skiing is more exciting than climbing. River rafting is the most exciting among three: climbing, skiing and river rafting. The use of describing word in the following sentences. This is the simple problem of them all. This is the simplest problem of all. Which is the lightest of two parcels? Which is the lighter parcel? When we compare two parcels, which one is lighter? He is cleverer than I am. He is cleverer than me. I like this the best of the two. I like this better. The flood became better as the rain increased. The flood became worse as the rain increased.